Hello, my wonderful sisters and brothers. Once again, this is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. This is Sunday night, tomorrow is Monday, and the next day the people go to the polls and they elect their representatives. And we have a lot of variations when it comes down to what's going on in this election. Be that as it may, it is what it is. But tonight I'd like to come before you, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, I've asked the people of the state of Minnesota to write me in as the next United States Senator from Minnesota, but I know they can't do that. I know they won't do that. And why did I ask them to do that? Well, what I was doing, my friends, I was giving those amongst the Republicans, amongst the Democrats, amongst the independents who claim to have a relationship with God, to claim to know love, an opportunity to stand up with love. Now, when I say stand up with love, I'm not talking about stand up with me. I'm talking about standing up with the message that I bring. The message of peace, the message of prosperity, and the message of joy in life and the fulfillment of dreams as the Almighty God would have it. Not as Republicans, Democrats, or independents would have it. That has failed, and that is not sufficient enough for any Christian or anybody who has a real relationship with God. And that being the case, I figured we might as well put God out here and say if you are for God and what God represents, then put your name out here. You know, people are going to say you're not going to win. Hey, when you signed up with God, you're already a winner. You're already a winner. You begin to be set free. You begin to see what others cannot see. You don't get angry. You just get excited. You're out of it. And so you stand up setting examples to those who hate. You stand up giving examples to those who are filled with bigotry and all of the animosity. You know the story. That's what God does. God doesn't ride in the train just because somebody says, I'm a Republican. When those Republicans are haters. When those Republicans are bigots. Nah. God leads a different way. And if he were on that train, the only thing he would be on that train for is to show a representation of what love is in that mix. And you can bet your last money he would never be going to the polls voting for evil. You've heard me say many times, ladies and gentlemen, that this is what happened in the 2016 presidential election. And this is the that mid-season that's taking place. But my purpose for this presentation tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is not to really dwell on that. There's nothing I can do at this moment to affect that in any kind of way. But what I'm here tonight, to say to all of my sisters and brothers in America, whether you are here because you were blessed to get away from your situations, and they say, well, America's filled with immigrants, so we've all come from a foundation that was built on those basic troubles. But I'd like to say to black, whites, and women and men, and straight and gay, and whatever I say to you, I want you to know that I'm saying this to all of America. I'm saying this to all of the Russians. I'm saying this to all of the Chinese, the Africans. I'm saying it to people everywhere. The same evil that perpetuates itself here in America finds itself not limited here, but it runs all across the globe, to and fro, backwards and forward, and falling over, trying to conquer, trying to destroy, trying to do everything he can to mess up. And all you got to do is look around, ladies and gentlemen, it's having fun. because it's messing up basically everything. But as the spirit of love, as I know it to be, I'd like to take this moment and invite all of you to be a part of something new that can begin right now to prepare yourself for the presidential election in the year 2020. I think that's right, 2022. That each of us, I got that wrong, 2020. Each of us, all over the globe, let us come together as friends. Let us make an agreement with one another. All of our lives we have lived in turmoil. All of our lives war has been going on. All of our lives hunger, poverty, crime, and violence has been going on. All of our lives hatred and bigotry and racism has been going on. And we know that that does nothing to bring us closer to our dreams. And even if we think it does, if anybody tried to tell us that it does, it usually means that we got to kill off a lot of people just to get them out of the way. But my friends, I want to tell you the good news. That's man's way. And I'm saying to you, if you have any respect for God, you know that I'm telling the truth, and you are glad this very moment that you hear these words to walk out of the Republican Party, to walk out of the Democratic Party, to walk out of the Independence Party, to walk out of any governmental system that denies God. And what is the governmental system that denies God? It's the system that's designed to cause sufferings to the people of God. And who are the people of God? Everyone, even you sinners. And when I say you sinners, I'm talking about those of you who have not accepted God. Those of you who still think God is fake. Those of you who don't believe in Jesus Christ. Those of you who don't believe in goodness. This, my friends, is what I'm talking to you about. So I think it's a great thing if all of us who have suffered so much, all of us who have hoped in the promises of others that have failed us. It's like marrying somebody, you think you got something going, and you find out you don't have anything going. So I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, there is a sure thing. There is something that will never, ever turn its back on you. But you got to be liberated out of the darkness before you can see it. God has never turned his back on any of us. Even though we might be getting slaps at our head, even though we might be starving, God is sending somebody out there to lend a helping hand, to show someone how to overcome that. He's taking care of his business as a spirit. But he needs the bodies, those who say, I know God, those who say, I love God. And there is only one way you can show that you love God, and that's by how the way you love your brothers and sisters that you see every day. That you are concerned about their lives just as much as you're concerned about their souls. That you're concerned about their day as you are their night, and it is a wonderful thing. You give God the glory that gives you the opportunity to be that representation. Thank God Almighty. So I'm talking to everybody that hears my voice. We can begin today to pull off, to undress ourselves from that hatredness that we've learned. We can begin today to undress ourselves from the bigotry that we perpetrate every day in our lives. We can begin at this moment in time to become lovers, to start practicing at what it means to love. We can begin now so that as it grows in just a moment or two, we will be able to step out of the shadows. We will be able to step out with our eyes open, with our shoulders up and our arms and feet bold, ready to show what love is and go against any form of hate. Form of hate from your relatives, form of hate from your spouses, form of hate from your parents, form of hate from your children, form of hate from your church, form of hatred from your community. We can stand up in the midst of it smiling, not smiling because we see weakness in them, but because we know that that weakness can leave them as soon as they can see. And just like we have begun to see, as we can see today. Lord have mercy, I was at church today. You know, I usually stay at home doing when my family goes to church. I stay at home and do my little thing like I'm doing right now and post it on Facebook and YouTube and some of those other sites out there. Today I decided to go. And I'm telling you, there was a testimonial service there. This is what I truly believe that church is all about. Church to me is about testimonies. It's about people who love God, who goes out in the world and hold themselves up as representations of God. And then they come back and they got something to say good, positive, regardless of what they found themselves in that day. They get a chance to see God in it. There was one particular testimony that got my attention, and there were several. I mean, everybody who spoke was speaking from experience, were speaking from the moment that the Spirit spoke to them, and they were absolutely fantastic. But this one particular testimony, it was a young lady said that, I don't know how it started because I got caught up in that fantastic part of it. She said she looked out of her window early one morning here in Minnesota, and in a tree outside of her, the view of her apartment, she saw a bald eagle. And, you know, according to her, she don't usually see bald eagles. It just happen every now and then, and they're usually someplace else and not that close. And so she grabbed her camera, and she started taking pictures, pop, 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 just taking pictures of this bald eagle. And she said that he sat there on that branch for almost 2 hours. But she didn't know he was going to be there that long. She was afraid, so she was just snapping pictures. She wanted to get them all before he decided to fly away. But while she was there, and the eagle was still there, she said 3 crows flew onto the tree as well, behind, watching the eagle. She said she stayed there and observed. One of the crows came down and bumped or picked on the eagle. The eagle did nothing. So he flew back. Later on, another one went down and picked on that eagle. She said that the next time that eagle opened up his wings spread. Now, I don't know too much about eagles, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you do. And some of you say they're some fantastic birds. And say those wings just came out as if they reminded you of the wings of angels that we might see in our imagination periodically. And the third crow, when they saw this, they just got up and flew away. And the point that she said in this testimonial service in church is that we who claim to be children of God, it is time for us to trust. It is time for us to stand up. It is time it is time for us to be bold. It is time for us to be proud. When proud, not the kind that leads you to destruction, but glorifying God in the way that God can be glorified, and that is in love. Not worrying about the evil, not worrying about those picks that are being stuck at you, not worrying about folks when they're talking about you ought to change your way, not worrying about when folks say you ought to be like us, not worried about folks when they say that what you're doing don't make any sense. You just be led by God and let everything fall off. And if you have to stand alone, way up there, away from all this stuff. I got a brother-in-law that says he wants to get himself together so he can buy him some property and go out there and don't have to live amongst people. Well, sometimes when you separate yourself from the bull that's happening in the world, you find that you are standing alone. But if you happen to be standing alone, stand alone. I'm telling you, ain't nothing so sweet as standing alone if you can't find nobody to stand with you. But stand alone. Serve God. You'll never go hungry. Serve God. And if you did, the message is there for something to be done, and you're being used to do it. So all of you brothers and sisters all over the world, I'm saying to you, as an individual who have lived here as long as I have, see, I'm the white-haired guy. My hair is not long, it's not straight, my eyes are not blue, I'm black, and I got nappy white hair. But that doesn't mean a thing. So does half the rest of the world. But what does mean something is what we can do. Out of all the killing, all of the massacring, raping women, selling women, killing people and selling their organs, all of those things that happen in this world absent the Spirit of God. It is calling on you, calling on me, calling on people everywhere that knows God to step outside of those shadows and step into the light. Step outside of that dark spot and be where you can be seen by everybody, not by what you're just standing up there talking about, but by what you're doing and how it's affecting the people in a very positive way, so they can see that something has happened that only a God could be doing, because you lived this far and long and it never happened before. So a God must be in charge. So I'm asking you, Asians, you Africans, you Indians, you Russians, you Iranians, you Jews, you whites, you black, I'm asking all of you to let us come together once for once. And our strategy is to do this, to guarantee to one another that we'll never have anything that's essential for our survival denied, because we are going to protect each other as God has made us to be protected. Not only that, we're going to have the ultimate life by creating heaven on earth. Now, this is what I would like to see done, ladies and gentlemen, as a representation of the love of God for the human race. And I'm thinking by the year 2020, the next presidential election, I know there are going to be a lot of Republicans and Democrats talking about the same things that I'm talking to you about right now. They're going to be talking about how they can deliver this to you. But I want you to know they've been delivering this to you ever since you've been in the world. You just haven't gotten it yet. So I'm asking you to wake up and believe in your heart that they can't deliver. And understand that the reason that they can't deliver is because they don't know how. Man does not know how to do good without God. Because only good, only love is an expression of God. And if you ain't got God, you ain't got love. This is why in most countries they say, no God. We'll have a constitution, we'll have some rules, we'll have a law, but no God. That's clearing up their authority. But I'm calling on all of you today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not be tricked. We've seen it all. We've seen the devil at work. We know the devil at work. Many of us work for the devil. And so let's just be as diligent working for God. Until next time, this is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people, saying God loves you, and let's get busy to stand up for love. Bye-bye.